Hi, I'm Benito Velasquez, and we're going to be taking a look at the installation machine, maintenance, and setup. Let's start with an overview of the machine's parts. This is the speed reducer. It increases output power while decreasing the speed of the agitator and the airlock drive motor. This is the drive motor. This motor provides the power for the speed reducer, agitators, and the airlock system. This is the motor reset. If the motor overheats, you will have to push the reset to get it going again. These are the drives for the agitator. The agitators, they condition the fiber in the hopper. The orange safety bars, you never want to put your hands past this point in the machine. And this is the airlock. This traps the air and fiber while providing a metered flow of material. Inside the airlock are the seals. They can be damaged by foreign objects and lose their effectiveness. And this is the shredder. The shredder increases production and coverage on all fiber products while reducing clumping of various fibers. The material gauge. This shows the amount of material going to the airlock. You can choose to either mark your settings here with attic or walls, or you can keep a log of where to set the machine. The slide gate. This controls the amount of material going to the airlock. The handle for the slide gate. This handle controls the opening and closing of the slide gate. Turn right for more material, left for less. The blower box. This protects the high pressure blowers from dust and insulation. These are the blowers. They can be run together or separately at various speeds. The filter. It should be vacuumed often to keep good airflow. This is our main control panel. This panel allows us to set the machine to remote control off, manual blower, manual agitator and blower. Green start button. This activates the machine. This is our main on and off switch, which can be locked out while servicing the machine. These are our two blower controls to control the pressure of the machine. And this is the kill switch. This shuts the machine off immediately in case of emergency. To start the machine, you're going to want to twist the red button as well as hit the green start button. This is our 120 volt on-off outlet. Next to that is the voltmeter, which indicates if the machine has power. The remote switch. This has three settings: off, feed and blower, as well as blower only. On the side of the control panel, you'll find the 24 volt AC on-off outlet, 110 volt AC outlet, and your remote control outlet. This is the hopper. This is where you'll be putting your insulation material.
Safe operation. Some quick do's and don'ts. Keep hands away from moving parts. Make sure all guards are in place before operating the machine. Hands should never pass below the hopper bars. Unplug the machine before lifting hopper and replacing motors. Make sure the main switch and the remote switch are in the off position before hooking up the power. Make sure the machine is grounded. Keep cords in good condition. Replace worn or damaged cords. Protect the power cords from sharp objects, moisture, or other hazardous materials. Unplug the machine when inspecting or making adjustments to it. Wear your respirator. It gets dusty. In case of an emergency, hit the kill switch. It stops all feeding and agitation. Before starting the machine, make sure the hopper is empty of all foreign objects and pieces of bags are removed. The filter is clean and in place. The sprockets and chains are aligned and tensioned. Make sure you have adequate power. Before adding fiber, the agitators and blowers must be on or the machine will bind. Power requirements.
If you plug into a house power, you have to have them on 2 separate breakers, and you can't use 15 amp breakers because both blowers pull 12.5 amps. So there you got 25 amps. So you need a 30 amp outlet on that one, 20 amp for the agitator motor. Most of the problems are caused by underpowering the machine. The agitator motor is the worst thing that happens. If the agitator motor starts off slow or sluggish or anything like that, you might as well change it out because it's not going to last that much longer. If you have low voltage, say you're running at 100 volts, the machine will run fine. But lower voltage makes the amperage go up, and when the amperage goes up, that's when you're going to blow a fuse, burn up your transformer, burn up your agitator motor. So you always want to make sure that on a 120 machine you're always running at 110 volts or more. With the 2 cords, that's going to be the one's going to be a 20 amp you need to plug into. Then you can look right at the plug and it'll say 20 amp or 30 amp on the 120 machine. If you have 1 cord, that's 240, and you need to plug into a 30 amp outlet or 30 amp breaker.
Generators need to produce 15,000 watts of power to run the insulation machines. Power cords 50 feet or less need to be a minimum of 10 gauge wire. For runs of 50 to 100 feet, you will need 8 gauge cords. Truck setup. Take time to consider where you will place the insulation machine. Look at access to the controls, workflow, where and how many bags need to be stored, hose storage, and how to duct fresh air to the blowers. How are you going to clean and maintain the machine? If you find something that does not work well, change it. Hoses. Use good quality duct tape to seal connections. Step the hose down and be aware of its curve. A good hose with well-sealed connections will be able to maintain the pressure needed to do the job. Test the pressure of the machine and the hose often. They should produce between 3.5 to 4 pounds per square inch. Just a few small holes will reduce its effectiveness. At the job, take care that the hose does not get run over or stepped on. When not in use, that it is stored neatly. Chain settings.
That's where the chain setting comes in. If you change them, like on here you should be getting real good with the fiberglass. If you go the other way, the fiberglass a lot of times, or especially the rock wool I heard, rolls up into little balls if you don't have it set up for rock wool. When you run it, sometimes people say that the airlocks will, going through the shredder and the airlock, they'll come out with little pellets in them instead of, a nice even flow.
If you blow cellulose and fiberglass, set the chains up for fiberglass and use it for both. See page 11 of the manual for diagrams of chain settings. Material settings. Set the machine to move as much material as you can in the shortest amount of time without clogging the hose. General slide gate and blower settings are on page 10 of the manual. Keep a log of the procedure being done, the material used, and blower and slide gate settings. Refer to it as needed. When blowing an attic, do not have the air up so high that you cannot see what you are doing because of the dust. In enclosed cavities, start with blower only to clear the hose. Keep the hopper full and find the blower and slide gate setting that dense packs the cavity and not the hose, and also keeps the drywall in place. Unplugging a clogged hose is not an efficient use of time. Maintenance. Clean your work area, the machine and generator, and the air filter daily. At the end of a job, empty the hopper, blow out the hose, and remove any pieces of bag caught in the agitators. Keep the machine and your work area clean and safe.
At the end of the night, you always want to empty out all the material that you have and also close your slide gate all the way.
after 40 hours of operation.
The chains, if you ever want to lubricate those, it's not a bad idea to every once in a while. We just spray WD-40 on them.
Inspect the chains and sprockets for wear and proper tension. Tighten and replace as needed. Do not over-tighten the chains.
That one's a little snug. That is a long one, and you want to loosen it up in because it's going over there.
That one's too tight.
Yeah, loosen that one up a little bit. Loosen that one up. The rest seem to be pretty good. These bearings back here for the agitators, those are self-lubricating bearings.
If they are squeaking loudly and are hot to touch, they will need to be replaced.
The other ones that you will use the red grease on would be your bearings for the shredder box and for the airlock as well. They have those on both sides.
Use a lithium-based lubricant, NLGI Grade 2. Check the oil level in the speed reducer. If it fails due to low oil, the warranty is voided.
If you check it every once in a while, as long as there's no little brass shavings in there where you can tell that the gears were getting ate up in there, you're okay. Right there's your fill line. Little bolt on the side, about halfway up. Like when you take that out, fill it up. Use SHC 634 oil in there.
Check the oil seals and look for leaks. Once a year, thoroughly clean and go over the machine. Remove and soak the chains and inspect the air seals.
As long as there are no rips, look, see if there's any wear on the sides. Feel the inside, make sure that's still nice and smooth. Don't tear them down unless we get bad pressure. If you get that blowback, then it's time to change the seals. Or if you're losing pressure, change the seals.
Keep foreign objects away from the hopper. Try to catch them before they enter the agitator and damage the machine. Loud knocking can be a result of loose chains. To check this, shut off the power to the machine. If the material should stop flowing, check the hose for a clog. If the clog's minor, usually you can just use the air to blow the clog free. If it's pretty major, you'll need to undo the hose. On an open blow, if you have too much dust, turn the air down or increase the material or do both. If the blowers stop, you'll want to check the blower controls at the machine to see if they're on. Also check the junction box where the blowers are connected. If the voltmeter shows no power, check the cord connections, the power supply, and if needed, the voltmeter itself. You may need to check the transformer, the relays, and fuses inside the control panel.
On page 16 of that manual, there is an electric flow chart that will show you where all the power goes throughout the steps. For continuity, like see how I push these two together? And that needle goes all the way up. If your needle goes all the way up, that just means that electricity can pass from this point to that point. So this comes in handy. Like say you want to check out a fuse, see if a fuse is good. Go down here, you just touch the top and the bottom of the fuse, and it goes all the way up. So that means that fuse is good. Well, if it doesn't move at all, the fuse is bad. And if it only goes up like a fraction of the way, the fuse is bad. Good sign that says that your transformer is bad. It'll beep the 2 times and then it won't engage and then it'll just start the beeping over. If it does burn up good, you'll be able to smell it.
If the agitators are not running, check the motor to see if it's overheated. Keep any dust, insulation away from the motor. In the summertime, you'll want to keep a fan on the motor to keep it cool. If the motor overheats, you will have to push the reset to get it going again.